Okay, let's keep this fast and simple. There's probably other guides on YouTube. I noticed that there were multiple parts and things, but I just wanted to make one that was a very quick, nice and clean setup for automation testing with Python. And first, we're going to install everything that we need. First thing you're going to need is something called Behave. You can install it using pip. So that'll, if you have pip, that'll work nicely for whether you're on Linux or on Windows, or whatever. I already have it installed, so it's going to say already satisfied, but go ahead and install that. Behave is essentially, if you're familiar with Cucumber and Gherkin, if I'm saying that right, um, Behave is basically the alternative for Python. So you'll have all the same given, when, then, steps. Uh, that helps us establish our feature files basically. Okay, then you're going to need to install Selenium. That is for UI automation. Yeah, again, already satisfied, already installed that. And next, you're going to need your Chrome driver. So if you're on Linux, you can install that with apt install chromium, I think, Chrome driver. Yeah, okay, and I already installed it. You can all, if you're not sure, you can check like this. If you're on Windows or what have you. Yeah. Um, if you are on, note, by the way, if you're on Windows, I'll maybe put a link on where you can install that for Windows, but you might also need to add that to path or something like that. I'll maybe include something in the description. Basically, you want to make sure this Chrome driver is available everywhere in your system. And fortunately for Linux, at least for the distro I'm using, just doing sudo apt install is good enough. Okay, so now we've installed everything we need. Okay. Optionally, if you like, if you're using Visual Studio Code, you'll be able to run it, run automation tests from the terminal. We'll do that. But if you would like, if you're using Visual Studio Code and you would like to be able to run these scenarios on Visual Studio Code, you can just look up Behave in the extensions. I've installed this one. I don't have a preference. I just installed one. But yeah, so you can go ahead and do that if you like. Okay, so we've set up everything we need, all right? Or we've installed everything we need. Now to set up the project, all right? What we can do is, as you can see, I just have an empty folder, all right? Same here. Nothing, it's just an empty, folder. The project structure we're going to do is just create a folder and name it features. This is where our feature file will go. And if you are, for step definitions, create another folder within features and name it steps. Okay, so within features, we can create our feature file. So just for this tutorial, I have an existing website. We're going to make a test case where we want to see if we sign in on the login page, does it redirect us back to the home page? That's just a simple, quick setup. Again, this is just getting you set up with automation on Python. If you want a more in depth, there's probably other videos. If you want, I can make some too. Okay, so this is our feature file, and feature files are written pretty much in plain English. So just give it a little description for the feature file. And then here is our scenario. We'll name it something like validate user is redirected to home page after successful login. Okay. And we will have our step definition, our steps here. So we'll do given, and we haven't written these yet. We'll write them. The user is on the login page. Okay. And then when the user enters valid credentials, so when they actually put in the username and password, and you'll see it actually when you run this, that's why we needed that Chrome driver. A web browser window will open up and it'll actually walk through these step definitions. Okay, then the user should be redirected back to the original URL. Okay. All right, so we've done our feature file. And actually you can see that these are all red because there's no definitions anywhere. So inside the steps directory, we'll create a file. We'll name it user login steps.py. Okay. So we will need to import a couple of things, but actually let's see if Visual Studio Code will import them automatically. So if I do given that step definition, I wonder if it'll create one. No? Okay, maybe I was wondering if the extension will let us create one. Okay. Definition, we're creating a function. Usually at, I just name it I actually work in automation testing, so this is usually the naming convention I go with. And let's see if I need to import. No? Okay, well, we import it. Oops, sorry. From behave, we're going to import given, when, and then. Those are the three steps we're going to use. Okay. And here, this is where we need to make sure we have the Chrome driver installed and set up and everything. We're just going to initialize that here. And we're going to go to the correct URL, the starting URL, which is the login page. Let me... All right. Let's see. Yes, perfect. Okay. And that was just the website we're going to use for this example. Okay, so we have our given step. We're just going to this page. We're opening a browser and we're going to this page. That's all it is. If you want, I'll put a comment. Change to whatever your project needs, or change to whatever link you need. Okay. All right. So next we did this step, and look, the color changed. Now we need this step. That's when. Okay. Okay, so we're just creating the second step definition. So what we're going to do now is enter those valid credentials. All right, so we're at the page. We just need to enter those valid credentials. So picture this. We opened a web browser. We're on the login page. So unlike us intelligent humans, we need to tell where exactly to enter those credentials. Okay, so we're going to select them basically using, you can use CSS selectors or, find element, those stuff. So that's what we're going to do. So if we go back to that, there's an email address and a password. So that's what we need. So we'll say email field. Now we need to get that field. Okay. Why is it not? Oh, I think I need to import it. Hold on. It's not auto-completing. Hey, this is where Selenium comes in for UI automation. Import web. Okay, maybe not. All right. So we're gonna find element XPath. That's just the method I'm using. Whatever, if you have a different website, you can, select it by whatever means you feel necessary. And that is not. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. All right. I don't know why it's not. Usually it lets me import it just automatically, but anyways. Okay. So now this, I copied this. This might look like a bunch of gibberish if you're not familiar. But if you are familiar, again, we're just selecting that email field. Okay. So I'm identifying it by the placeholder. That's just the choice I have made. There's probably more efficient and intelligent, ways to select, but this is a personal project and I did whatever means necessary. So now for the password field, again, when we have not put the credentials yet, we've just selected the email field, okay, and we put it into this variable. Right, so now the password field, same thing. And then by.xpath, and let me copy that one. Okay, so let's see if we have everything. Okay, I think we have the email field and the password field selected. All right, so now we need to actually put in those values. All right, so for the email field, yes, email field dot send keys. Why is it not coming up again? Oh, okay, hold on. Sorry, I have to import these one by one. Okay, there we go. All right. All right. Okay. Sorry, I blanked a little bit. And you're gonna put whatever sample email sample at gmail.com. Okay. And for the password, same thing. Password field. Send keys. As the name implying, this is where we're actually plugging in our values. Whatever. Usually in the professional work, and even in personal projects, because you don't want this going GitHub. Whenever you push to GitHub, if you're testing locally, okay, fine. But whenever you push to GitHub, maybe make sure you have these actual values and like a properties file or something that is hidden, that is not pushed to GitHub. Okay, so you're not pushing your own email, password stuff. Okay. And if you want to, like, you put in the username, password, and you hit enter, right? So what we're going to do is to go to the next page. So we're going to do password field, send keys dot return. So now it's like we're hitting enter. We're saying, okay, submit. If you want, right? Or in our case, if we're gonna like click the login button, like right here, right? We're gonna do login button. Now, so like the email and password fields, we're selecting this. .driver.find element by.xpath. Okay, and then login. Now that we've selected it, button.click. Why do I need to import that too? All right, well, we'll worry about that later. Okay. Why are these highlighting in yellow? Context not defined. Oh, okay. There we go. Right. Okay, so we've written the when, and look, now the color is back, and let's do then. So we logged in, and once we log in, as expected behavior of the website, we're supposed to be back at the homepage. Then double quotes, single quotes, I don't think they make a difference. I keep switching them because, again, I'm used to just personal projects, and I don't really pay attention to these things on personal projects. All right. Okay, so we need to, I'm going to put in time.sleep. Let me import time. I'm going to put in just like a 4-second wait time. Okay. Just for that, like in case, they hit login, right? And, yeah, they hit login, and, maybe it takes like a second to redirect to the homepage. So I'm going to put like a 4-second, sleep. And for more, advanced automation, whatever, blah, 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 you can set a conditional, like wait this time until something happens, basically. So until you see a log out button, for example. So yeah, again, that's, there's probably plenty of videos on stuff like that. So we're going to do an assertion that we are back at the home page. So I'm going to just copy this much. Okay. And we're now going to close. Okay. Let me save it. So I think when we run it, now we're going to run into issues because, again, I'm not putting an actual one in. But to hide my, information from you guys, let me put another sleep. I think I am able to, 10 seconds. Reason why, what I'm trying to do is when that browser comes up, and you'll see, it'll put in these values. I want to actually go in and change them manually to my actual ones, so you guys don't see my password and stuff. I don't have advanced, video editing stuff, and I don't feel like setting up properties file right now. Okay. All right. So if I save that, so again, there's 2 ways to run it. You can go here, run tests in current file, or to run all the scenarios in the current file. Or if you're here, I think if we just do behave. And now I think it's starting up. Here's the window. It put in the credentials. Let me put in my actual ones. All right, and let me wait until it clicks. There we go. Actually, it worked. Wow, okay. And they all passed because we're back at the home page and everything. Okay, so we've successfully set up behave on our Python project. So if you guys have a personal project, or if you're small startup, or if you're doing for work purposes, if you're like for me, when I went into QA, automation testing was completely new. It was a new initiative we were doing at our company. So basically, if you're good to go, if you're happy with what you've seen, you're ready to set up and you're ready to explore, you can go ahead and stop watching. Now you've gotten everything you need. I'll put any commands and stuff we've run in the description, and I'll put a GitHub to this if you want the same thing. I'll put a GitHub link to this, so you can have the same code and stuff. But if you want to hear about the benefits of automation testing and why it's very, very good, you can stay, and I'll tell you. Okay, so prior to, and I'll explain actually a scenario where it would have helped a lot. So I moved teams around a little bit, right? So on one team, I was an automation tester, and on another team, I was a developer. Okay. so on the automation team, I just worked on automation tests, and I didn't really get what the benefits were, honestly. I just wrote automation tests, and I mean, to be fair, I was a very new developer at that time, so I didn't really know what was going on. And then when I became a developer, that's when I really realized why it's very beneficial. Basically, the idea is, if all the features and stuff are automated, and you have a new release, a new you're making new features now, right? All your previous features are automated. Now you're making new features, right, for your web app or whatever it is. You want to make sure that new features, one, they work, right? So you can do automation or manual testing for the new features to make sure they work. But two, you want to make sure your new features didn't actually break anything existing. Now, you're not going to go and manually test all the previous features, right? That's going to take forever. Now you might guess and be like, "Ooh, this might involve this previous feature, so let's make sure it still works, and everything." So you might guess, but to really make sure that anything new is not breaking anything old, that's where automation testing comes in handy. So you can hook it up with Jenkins or something, and basically on a schedule or on demand, whichever one you want, run your existing automation test cases that cover testing existing features, making sure none of them fail. Okay, if any of them fail, you can go in and look, oh, did it actually get affected by something new we worked on? You can investigate. And actually what happened with me when I was a developer, this is when I saw that this was really beneficial. I did something exactly like that. I was working on a feature, and I was modifying like an API contract or something like that. And I unknowingly made changes that caused a bunch of fields, like pretty important fields in the payload that was being sent to the API, to not get populated. Okay, so I did some. I think I played with like some conditional or something, like something pretty stupid, to be honest. And it caused a bunch of important fields in that payload to not be populated. So when I tested my feature, I was checking my fields were getting populated and were looking good. Everything was looking good. And when I went to QA, they did the same thing. They checked, are those fields looking good? My fields were looking good, right? But what both of us didn't know was that it was affecting existing important fields, right? And this feature went all the way to production. And that's when we realized, oh, there's an issue. Now, had there been automation testing where the test case checked the existing fields, is everything getting populated? The assertions are checking, is this field as expected? Whereas no, it's coming back as null now. Had we had automation testing, that would have been caught before going to production. But since we did not, and since it was affecting something old, no one's going to go manually test every single thing that is old. That's what happened. So yeah, all right. That's why automation testing, honestly, it's really, really important. And hey, like if you're working at a company, startup or like corporate, whatever, and you're involved in QA and stuff, and they don't have automation testing, I would highly encourage recommending that. And that could be initiative that you took, and stupid stuff. Okay. So yeah, hopefully this helps. And feel free to watch any of the other videos on my channel. They're mostly Linux videos, to be honest. So if that interests you, go ahead. Otherwise, if there's more you want to see on automation, let me know in the comments. Right? All right. Take care.